By no means am I right now a super high status masculine male like Top G, but I did increase a lot in status and masculinity in the past 2 years. I didn't get any bitches, like 0 bitches. And now I can confidently say that it's quite easy to get some woman interested in me personally. But the funny thing is, I never knew that I was acting low status and that I was acting corny. I never knew that until a friend just told me, and it was kind of harsh, like, bro, you're acting like a fucking loser. I already was kind of going to the gym. I already was an entrepreneurial guy, but I just acted like a corny loser. And you're probably doing this as well if you watch this and you want to get some more women. There is a difference between being authentic and being corny. Like, that's not the same thing. Like, you can be authentic and still be high status, or DHV, display of higher value, as my friends would say. They always call it like a DHV activity if you do something cool that other people look up to. So by no means am I the DHV master, but I am way closer to being it than I was 2 years ago. So I might have some tips for you to turn it around as well. Because in this case, I'm specifically talking about women and other masculine men that kind of have to look up to you. If you're acting real masculine, then girls will be attracted to you and other guys will kind of look up to you in kind of a different way, or they will respect you. That's probably a better explanation. But that doesn't mean that you just have to run around trying to be funny, trying to be authentic. That's not how it works. And you also don't have to try and force to being Andrew Tate, because you're not Andrew Tate. Be the person that you are or that you're working to be. So for me, for example, I'm working every day like 12 hours or more to become successful, to become rich. It sounds very cringe and I don't like saying this, but I'm working to get financially free. I'm already here in Bali right now. You can watch any of my other videos like the thumbnails say, but I'm definitely not there yet. I can't even afford an expensive car, for example. So I'm never going to say that I'm super rich or super successful, but I did struggle really much to get a lot of women, and now I can quite effortlessly get women if I want. And the biggest trick in this is just you need to know how to play the game, because everyone is playing a game at the end of the day. You're trying to put on a mask or you're not. And if you're being authentic, you can still act in a different way. Because if you're going to be truly authentic, like for example, I sometimes walk around naked here in this villa, but I'm not going to do that in public, but that's inauthentic because I would do that at home. But it's just against the law and probably not really liked by a lot of people if I'm going to walk around naked in the streets of Bali. So it's more like, who am I and what kind of traits of myself am I going to show to people? You don't have to show everything, and you don't have to show them all kind of effort that you're putting in and whatever. I see some people like on Instagram, for example, showing every single gym workout that they are doing, and that's kind of corny, that's kind of cringe. Like, why are you showing off that you're going to the gym, especially when they're not super muscular? It's just kind of unnecessary. That's one of the things that I learned from my friends that are a bit more high status than I am. Make it seem effortless. That's not trying to fake it, but just leave some gaps in your stories. Don't tell everything. Don't overshare everything. Those are, I think, the most important points of this video. Don't overshare and keep it a little bit mysterious. If a girl asks you, what are you doing? Like if you have a simple conversation on Tinder and you just want to fuck that girl. Super simple. You want to bring her to your bedroom. That's just the only task that you have. If she asks you, oh, what kind of work are you doing? I literally had this yesterday. She asked me on Tinder, what do you do for work? And oh, what are you doing? Because she asked me, how are your holidays? And I told her, well, I'm working in cafes and I'm doing cool shit. And she's like, oh, what are you working on? Blah, blah. Just keep it mysterious. That's not inauthentic because I don't lie. I do those things. I just changed a little bit to make it a little bit more juicy, to make it more like for her imagination to fill it in. You don't have to overshare on everything. That's what I did before. I was showing everything on my Instagram stories and I was telling everyone everything that I was doing. But it's not interesting. It's way more interesting if you leave some gaps, if you keep it a bit more mysterious, if you make it seem a little bit more effortless. And you might say like, oh, I'm a very happy guy, so in public I'm also very happy. Yes, I'm also happy, I'm also optimistic, but in the gym I'm quite serious, I'm quite focused. That's also the authentic me. So I'm not faking it. I can also be more serious, I can also be more like focused. It's just what kind of version of yourself are you going to show to the world? And this kind of sounds like I'm a weird guru and I hate saying things like this, like giving advice. I'm just telling the younger me, that's probably you if you're watching this video, what kind of mistakes I made and what kind of trap not to fall into. Because I thought that I was doing the right thing. I was telling everyone what I was doing. I was being super authentic. I was oversharing on everything. Like everything was clear. Everyone knew exactly what I was doing. So you're not interesting anymore. They know everything already. But if you're telling a story or like just learn the skill of storytelling in the first place, if you're telling a story and tell it in a cool way, that's also authentic. But it's hard to explain. I guess it also comes down to being someone that's cool. Like if you're authentic and you're a loser, then you are an authentic loser. But if you are more of a masculine, cool guy and you're being authentic, then that's also who you are displaying, like the kind of mask that you're wearing, if you want to say it like that, on the streets, because that is authentic to you in the moment. But you have to change the person that you are right now. Become someone that you want to be and show yourself as that person. So the story that I told about acting rich and successful before I am, you have to be kind of delusional in some sort of ways. If you're not really muscular like I'm not muscular at all yet, but I'm still trying to act someone with confidence. I think I'm very proud of what I've already achieved with my physique, because I'm 6'7", and it's really hard to grow muscle as a 6'7" guy. And I started off as a very skinny dude, so I'm confident with my physique. It's not really impressive or something. Same thing with my finances. I'm not making a lot of money, but it's significantly more than I did, so I'm confident. So authentically, I'm confident. You know what I mean? Like, you have to deserve that feeling, that authentic feeling, and that makes you higher status in the long run. So don't overshare. Keep some gaps in the stories that you're telling, or just in general to girls, because they like to play that game. They like to imagine what you're doing and what kind of life you are living, especially if you really want to date her. Like, don't overshare immediately. Obviously, eventually, if you're going to have a very loving relationship with her, she can know what you're doing, but you can still package it in a cooler way to make her interested in the story that you're going to tell. Let's say I go to the cafe after this recording. It's like 11:30 a.m. right now. And let's say I go to the cafe and I have an interesting conversation with a real estate guy that's making 10 million per year. Just a random story that I just made up. And he tells me something about selling a house to a very famous footballer, for example, and he was doing some weird things to buy that house, whatever, like some interesting story. Then in general, the whole thing that you had a conversation with an interesting real estate guy, that's quite boring. That's not that interesting at all. But you can go home and tell your wife, like, oh, I just met someone super cool and he had this story about this guy. He did all those weird things. And now your wife is like, oh, that's interesting. Let me listen to the story. Or you go home and you tell your wife, oh yeah, I went to the cafe and I talked to some real estate guy. And what do you think your wife thinks? At least she thinks, oh, that's boring. That was a boring conversation. But if you go home with like, oh yeah, and he told me this and this was happening and this and this and this cool happened, that's also authentic. You're not faking anything. It's just a way of packaging and presenting yourself that you have to change. And in general, if you are a loser, you have to change yourself, because if you're an authentic loser, the world is going to see you as a loser and you deserve to be seen as a loser. So work hard every day towards someone that you want to be and someone that you want to display. And in the meantime, try to already build a confidence to display that person. Don't overshare on everything. Play the game with the girls that I want to play, because that's just how girls work. It's quite simple, and then you should be all right. If you have any more questions about this, you can leave it in the comments or just comment for the algorithm. I don't have anything to sell you, because this channel is just for me to practice storytelling, because I'm a YouTube creative and I benefit from learning storytelling. So if you watched till the end of this video, I succeeded already, +1 for me. Subscribe, like, leave a comment for the algorithm, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.